Hey, welcome back everybody. I want y'all to take a look at this video, right? This is has been going on for quite a few times now, and I just want to say that when it comes down to dating, your choice of dating, whether it be a rich person compared to a poor person, I just want y'all to take a look at this video before I even put my 2 cents in on it. Of course, you know, I'm sitting here from the male's point of view. My wife is here from the female's point of view, and we're definitely going to have fun with this. So take a look.
All right, let's see. Let's start.
So I've noticed lately that broke men are trying to convince single mothers that rich men don't want them. And the funniest thing about that to me is the reasons are usually like, oh, it's so much harder, it's going to be more expensive. They're looking at the children as obstacles, they're looking at these women as used goods. And here's the thing, successful men don't base what they want off of how easy it is to get it. In fact, in my experience, when there's a bit of a challenge, it's more exciting for them. They're not going to go with the easiest lay, right? They're going to go with someone that's interesting to them. And the qualities that make someone a good mother really makes them an interesting person and a really good partner too. So, food for thought. These broke guys, dusty guys, really shitty guys are going to try to convince you that you're not worth as much because they're trying to get a baddie.
I gotta laugh. We can't make this shit up. And I think y'all know this. We cannot make this shit up. Take the lead.
Take the lead. Wow. She said so many incorrect things here that I would honestly say, girl, just continue doing your makeup. Because I'm assuming that in regards to what she said, maybe doing the makeup was a little distractive. So she didn't complete her thought carefully in order to project it to make sense. Because some of the things that she was saying, for one, made no sense. And I'm gonna play that part back because I'm like, wait, what are we talking about?
Right.
And the qualities that make someone a good mother really makes them an interesting person and a really good partner too.
The fuck are you talking about? I'm sorry to curse y'all, but
listen,
what the hell? That made absolutely no sense. The qualities that makes a good person is the fact that they're a mother, or the qualities that make someone interesting is the fact that they're a mother, and they also make a good partner. Please, literally break that down for me, because this is very dumb and very stupid. It shows you the level of smarts that this lady has, or the level of smarts that she possesses. First of all, being a good mother does not make you interesting. Being a good mother is what you're supposed to do after you have kids that didn't ask to be here.
Right.
This is not like, oh my God, I'm so interesting because I have kids. What makes you interesting? You have the kids, you should know how to take care of them. You have your kids, that's just something that's common. You take care of them. You're not interesting because you have kids. Having kids does not make you a good partner either. Anybody can have kids. Hell, shitty people have kids.
Yeah. What it makes you is a liability to somebody else.
So, like I said, take what she's saying with a grain of salt.
Right.
Not everybody that get on here and they turn on the camera and they start to talk means that they make sense.
Right.
Means that they know what they're talking about. Or even means that they're sane in the membrane. Like some people, they're off in their head and they just talk to talk. You know what I'm saying? And like my mom used to say, like my mom always would say, rather, don't just open your mouth and say anything. Make sure what you're saying makes common sense.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? To get back on topic, she says
it becomes a challenge to
broke men.
Yeah.
Say that women who have kids, it's going to be harder for them to date. They're expensive and they use goods. Now, I say this with a ton of respect. Are they lying? You are used goods. You're not coming into the picture a virgin. it may be expensive to take care of you, hence the fact that you have not just you, but you have kids.
Other kids, yeah.
Where did they lie at this point?
Right.
It's going to be harder to deal with you because you may have a baby daddy on the sideline.
Right.
Or you may have a kid who's insubordinate depending on the age of the kid.
Right.
Because that's not their father. So with the statement that the broke men made, where are they lying?
Right.
That's the question. Are they telling, they're not lying.
The thing is with most of them, right? They would go through life trying to prove that so-called broke man to be incorrect. Right?
Mm-hmm.
By finding this so-called person that's willing to deal with them in their package deal. Right? Because as I said before, that's what you become. You become a package liability towards the other person. Because I get it. A lot of men, some of them, can't really have kids of their own, so they don't mind jumping on board with something
in
that's
some
already
scenarios,
preset.
right?
But to some men who are wealthy and know exactly what it is that they want out of a female, most of them are not looking for that package deal. If
They want to have kids of their own.
Keep in mind, we are living in a world that not only is it full of secrecy, it's full of things that people may do behind your backs that you don't even know that they're doing. Mm-hmm. All you see is the finished product, the money, the account, this, that, and the third, the luxury items. You don't know anything about what these people are doing behind your back, right? To keep that smile on your face and your package deal. You could now go into a situation now, you become that person who's next up for a sacrifice, or your kids might be that sacrifice.
Exactly.
There's so many things that you have to take into retrospect when you're dealing with somebody of that caliber.
So what you're saying is he will pretend to like
He
you.
will more than likely pretend all the way that this is just what
Yes.
he's been looking for, not knowing that you are literally just what he's been looking for.
Literally, that's true.
Right? I have to literally wonder sometimes, why are so many of you so-called baddies single? Why are so many of you so-called baddies not only single, but you have a trail of kids of so-called failed attempts to make it right?
A bunch of rich men's kids that
Like,
in turn use the kids as a paycheck, right?
I'm
As a
saying
stipend, but nobody locks it in. Nobody gets married to them.
they're just taking you guys for a ride because
Exactly.
your exterior kind of tells the story of yourself. That person already knows that there's so much to, come on, there's so much to this that
And then she goes on to say that successful men want women that are a challenge. Successful men don't care about you
Being
or
a
your
challenge.
challenge.
No.
Because they have
What's
options.
the challenge?
They have options.
Right.
Right?
It's just like if they're successful,
This girl is stupid.
if they're successful, there's no challenge.
They could have anybody that they
could have
want.
anybody that they want. So where's this challenge that you're saying? I'm trying to figure it out. Where's the
And
challenge?
there was no challenge when you had your first, second, or third kid, right? Where was the challenge then? Before you had a child, that's where the challenge should have lied. Like literally, before you had a child, that's where the challenge should have been. You should have gotten married, so you won't be out here chasing and trying to find a rich man. You should have locked it in with your baby daddy. And don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
not every situation pans out to be picture perfect, right? Some people did everything right in a relationship, and the secondary or the
Right.
partner who
Right.
with whom you were
You
locked
just-
in
you-
with
you-
decided to leave.
Yes.
Whether you're
because-
married or not.
Yes.
But what we are saying is marriage tends to lock things in a little bit more.
Right.
It takes it to a deeper level.
After
okay?
careful researching.
If somebody's gonna marry you, it's because a lot of times they're looking for that one. They're not out here trying to do a bunch of crazy
Right.
stuff. Like I said before, there's different scenarios. Some people get married and they do stupid stuff, right?
Of course.
But the majority of people who do get married end up having successful marriages, right?
Of course.
It just takes two to make it work.
Of course.
Of course, like I said before, because I know somebody's gonna get in the comment. My situation
Oh,
is
they're
different.
they're gonna go crazy.
No
in that
shit,
comment section
Sherlock.
after this video.
Every situation is different, but we're taking a situation as a whole, right?
mhm.
The majority. We're looking at it from a majority standpoint. not from a lesser standpoint.
Mhm.
And when it comes to dating or finding, according to what she's talking about,
Correct.
when it comes down to dating rich men, it's so many different things, right? You could be just needed as arm candy, right? Or
That's
basically,
what
you could
most
just
of them
be something
are. They
to
become
do.
arm candy.
A lot of rich men already locked in. They already have a wife and kids. And if they do, let's say, for whatever reason, they get a divorce, right?
You're right, pretty much.
They're not getting married a
Pretty
second time
much.
a lot of times
They're
because
not.
everything's already in place, and that's it.
You're at the
You know?
current time. You are just something to do,
Exactly.
right? Let's
The loyalty
let's keep it
is
100.
not going to lie with you.
Let's keep it 100.
They might be more loyal to the ex-wife than you, to be honest.
Correct. Correct.
And secondly, to sum things up, you could meet a broke king and have a rich narcissist. Okay? Because a lot of rich people, it's all about oneself.
Very good.
When you think it's about you, it's gonna be about him. A lot of rich people require time. And when I say time, they don't care about your little entrepreneurial ventures or anything of that sort. They want you to be available right then, there, and fucking now.
Right.
Right? A lot of times they take full control. They want all the control. But a lot of you settle and you forget to mention that point.
Mm-hmm.
You try to make it seem like it's all hunky-dory and roses on this side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's fresh roses.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, half of the roses are already withered,
Yes.
right? You forget to leave that part out intentionally. You forget to leave that part out every single time.
Right.
You don't say what you're going through. You don't say that there's a lot of neglect. He doesn't spend much time with you because most people do a lot of traveling.
No.
You don't say that he's verbally abusive, sometimes even physical, but a lot of you are willing to put up with all of that shit
Just
simply
for a
because
little bit of what?
you get the extra money, you get the flaunt, you get to go on social media
Yeah.
or wherever and
Getting cheated on left and
I
right.
got that, I got this, I got that. But now
Definitely.
that China has blown up the spot,
Oh,
basically,
let's not
when
talk
it comes
about
to
that.
luxury
Let's-
stuff,
ooh,
what is
great.
there now on a luxury perspective?
What is there to go
What
after?
is there to go after? Because most of you women, you lock in with rich men for materialistic stuff. And now, like
love
I
is
said, now
not
that
there.
China has exposed what they've exposed,
Yeah.
what is there to go after?
Yeah.
A luxury Birkin?
Yeah.
We all know that we all know that a Birkin is worth no more than $2, $20 if you will.
Oh yeah.
So, it just leaves me to say, find somebody who is compatible, and not just find anybody, but take time to do your due
Yes.
diligence, even if it takes you 4 years to walk down the altar. Because in this day and age, you got to make sure that you're correct and they're correct. You got to do your due diligence inside out.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And now is not the time to be rushing to have kids.
No.
Now is
no.
not the time to be rushing out there to be dating.
It's a disease infested
Now is not
world
the time
out
to be
there. Like,
seeking a man
know?
just for his money. You think he don't know you? You
just
want
there
to
for
use
that?
him?
Of course. He
Like,
knows
come
that.
on. Like I said.
He will put on that game face like nothing, and he would just let you do what you do, make you think this and think
Yes.
that. Before you know it, you're going to end up just with another baby daddy, so to speak. But some of you are
And a
okay.
lot of rich men, they're
Some
not
of-
stupid. They're not going to get you
Right.
pregnant.
They're not going to, no, because they know already that someone just like you came before them
Yes.
and did the same thing.
And
so why would they put themselves in that position
A
again?
lot of them, if you look at their prior wives, they're plain Janes,
Yes.
right? And if the plain Jane situation didn't work out, they don't want a baddie. Trust me,
No.
they don't. They just want to do what they got to do with you, and they're not going to take you seriously. Remember, they became rich for a reason. It's
To
because
secure
that intellectual,
to secure
they're
themselves.
smart.
Yep.
They're not stupid,
Yep.
right? They know how to represent themselves in a boardroom. They're not stupid. And if they got to trick the shit out of you and fool you in
Mhm.
order to get what they want for the time being, that's what they're going to do.
That's it. You can
And that's
try all
just
you
it.
want.
So
Some of them even they go get a vasectomy on purpose.
I was just gonna say that most
do it
rich
on
men,
purpose.
after they have their kids,
yeah, they
with
do it
the-
on purpose.
after they have, because a lot of times rich men don't have baby mamas,
Yeah.
right? They lock it in,
Yeah.
spend 20, 30 years or whatever the situation have you, and if things don't work out, by that time, because they already know rich people plan everything. That's another thing, right?
Mhm.
And I'm giving you inside
Constantly
scoop.
planning,
Rich
constantly
people
planning.
plan everything.
Barely sleep, constantly planning. What's
And
their next move?
Everything is strategic. They know right offhand that they're gonna have maybe 2 kids,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
3 kids if you're lucky. and after that's done, they get a vasectomy.
Correct.
Right? It's just a way in which rich people do things.
Yeah.
Money has to be allocated a certain way. College funds have to be set up a certain way. Trust have to be set up a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So they have to make sure they have everything set in place for each kid, because they're not raising their kids like the typical person. So they make sure that they know the number in order to know the amount of money spent for those children.
All right, now.
So
We're not going to go in it too far.
that's it.
There's a point where we're going to stop.
Yes.
And because, like I said, we don't want any to offend anybody. This is just
But
our
it's just
personal opinion.
awareness. It's to
And
bring awareness.
It is supposed to bring
Yes.
awareness without offending
Don't listen
anybody.
to these people on social media talking shit.
So I don't know if we want to go into the comment section, because I'm just going to assume that a lot of the comments are straight capping, that a lot of them are just, putting up this facade as if everything is hunky-dory and just perfect, but we're going to be nosy. Let's take a look.
All right. First comment. I work in real estate. Majority of older men have blended families. You hear the key word? Older men.
Yes.
Because they done did what they had to do previously.
That's it.
Right?
That's it. They just need arm candy at that moment.
At that moment, and just something to tickle their fancy, a little something, something.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. And I got 2 kids. They pay a sitter and send a car. When a man comes into your life that cares, he makes things easier immediately.
Mm-hmm.
How many other people is he doing that for? And don't get me wrong, they may be
Some.
a
Some.
0.1% percentage
Yes.
of somebody who's genuine, who just happens to be, well off.
Yes.
But the majority, that doesn't mean that applies to the majority.
Right. And they're not 100% dedicated to you.
Exactly.
Some of the times there's always somebody else. Listen, women. Listen, I'm gonna.
It says,
just do your homework. Treat
My-
every situation as if you're taking a grand exam, something that's gonna benefit your future. Do your homework. Stop bouncing from, canvas to canvas, because I'm gonna call it canvas.
my ex told me no one would want me because I'm a single mom of 2 with too much baggage. He broke up with me. Week later, I got asked to be a girlfriend of someone better in all aspects. Now he's mad, single, and stalks me. You got asked to be a girlfriend, not a wife. Calm down. Just saying.
Yeah.
And you are a mother of 2. So if you don't look out for yourself, look out for the kids. Because another thing is, and this is coming from experience, we've been married for 19 years, right? And I just want to say, some people might pretend that they want you, like you, or they're like head over heels, over you, and they want to get with your kids.
Yes.
So when you have kids, you have to do everything with a fine-tooth comb.
They will groom you
Gotta
all
be
the way
careful.
through.
Gotta
All
be
the way
careful.
through. Gain your trust in every way, just so you can feel comfortable to say, you know what, take Johnny to the baseball game, take Sarah
Susie
to
to the-
so wherever.
Yep.
Before you know it, they're molesting your kids.
Last and final question. Being a single mother didn't stop rich men asking me out ever. I have them spoiling me without doing anything. My wealthy ex-boyfriends still send me gifts just because. Anyway,
I don't know.
listen.
Straight cap, if you ask me.
Exactly.
So-
You're still doing something. But if they're sending you anything, you're doing something.
Yeah.
But like I said, they always tend to leave that part out. That's the last comment that I'm gonna read, because you could kind of see where things are going,
Yeah.
right? But I want you guys to leave your juicy comments below. Let us know what you think. Do you have kids? Have you ever dated a rich man? Or are you like not even beat for it, right? Do you just date middle class people or
Yeah.
people who, they're about something, so to speak? And it's not all about the pockets. Let me know what you think. Do you think this lady is a little bit delusional or a whole lot of delusional? Anyway, keep the chat going in the comments, and we will be right back with another video.